Hey peeps, welcome to another video. Today it is my March lookbook and I have a long video for you. I've just counted and technically I did make 5 of these things in the first 5 days of April, but they were part of my March sewing plans as well as the other things, and I've made 20 items. A lot of those were quick knit projects though, so yeah, it's fine. We'll get started, shall we? Because this is going to be a waffly one. The very first one that I made is this, which is the Sew Over It Eve dress, and it is in a anchor and ship wheel print rayon that I got from Indian Royal Treasures, which is an eBay shop. And if you've seen my favourite online or my favourite fabric shops video, they are listed in that one, but I will also list them in the description box down below. I don't think they have any more of this. I think I got the last of it, but I love it. It's very floaty. I have made the Eve dress once before in the green viscose challis that I got from Weaver D, and I went by the measurements on the pattern and I did a size 14 bust, a size 10 waist and a size 14 hip, and I think technically I should have done a 16 hip, but I thought that given the amount of ease that there was in the pattern and the type of skirt that it was, that I'd get away with the 14. Now that dress was too big in the top for me, and this one I have retraced the pattern top. I have gone down to a size 12 at the bust and a 10 at the waist, and it's much better. When I first tried it on, I did think that I could have gone possibly down an extra size, but I've readjusted and kind of put this on properly. I just tried it on really quickly for the video, for the vlog before, and I kind of hadn't tied it as I would have, and yeah, done the little tweaks to it that you do when you actually want to wear something. So I just think this one looks really nice. I'm of course going to put in outdoor clips for you down there. So I love this. I love this dress so much. I am planning on making one more, because I'm going to try and limit myself to, if I love a pattern, I'm going to try and limit myself to 3 of that pattern, because I have so many lovely patterns that I want to try. So I'm going to try and limit myself to 3 repeats of a single pattern, because I have so many lovely patterns that I want to get made up and try. And the first one that I made of this was definitely a wearable muslin. I love the fabric from Weaver D, but it was very reasonably priced and I knew I could get more of it, so if it hadn't worked then it wasn't going to be the end of the world. This fabric was on the next level of precious to me. My precious. Anyone else do that with their fabrics? Go and stroke them, my preciouses? Yes, tangent. This, I knew I couldn't get any more of this, but I was very confident that with the previous dress that I'd made that I could get the look that I wanted with it, and I'm really pleased with it. I have lengthened this skirt by 2 inches and I've lengthened the bodice by 1 inch as well, because I have a very long torso in comparison to my height, and I am just loving skirts that are hitting me at this particular length, so that's why I've done those 2 alterations. The other thing that I did was I have cut, rather than cut 2 yokes, I've cut 4 yokes, and I've actually burritoed the bodice into that, because I love the way that it gives a really clean finish on the inside. The other thing that I've done is I have French seamed the entirety of this dress, and I have then put a buttonhole in at the side to pass the tie through. The first one I French seamed as much as I could, and then I bound the side of the dress, the right hand side where the tie needed to go through, in the way that the pattern called for, and just left an opening in the seam. But I find that I actually do prefer, I've got a couple of wrap dresses and I've used buttonholes for those, and I just find that I prefer that, and it also lets me do the finish on the inside that I want to do. So yes, that's the changes that I made to this one. I have one more planned, and I'm straight up going to copy Ellie from LEM, and it's the fabric that I got from Sew Over It, and it is a beautiful white viscose. I think it's a rayon. I think rayon and viscose are interchangeable, they're the same thing, just different countries call it different things, but it's just this beautiful, beautiful fabric, and I always intended to turn that into an Eve dress, but I wanted to make sure that I liked the Eve dress enough first. So there's going to be one more of those, and that's what that one's going to be. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this, really pleased with this, and it's very comfortable to wear. I'm so pleased with it, in fact, that I'm wearing it out clubbing this evening with some high heels and a bit more jewellery, and maybe without the glasses, although that would mean putting a contact lens in, which could be interesting. Haven't done that for a while. So yes, make number 1. Okay, so make number 2 is the Mccall's 6696 shirt dress, and I have done this in the Timeless Treasures CC fabric that I got from the Festival of Quilts last August. Now my best friend and I have a running joke about octopi and the fact that they learn faster than she does, and so when I see cute octopi things, it just kind of resonates and makes me smile, which is why I purchased this fabric. It is so pretty. I love this colourway. I love the bright white with the different shades of blue all over it. It's not immediately in your face obvious that it's octopi until you get quite close to the fabric, I think. I don't care about that. Even when you do get close, it's really cool. I love it. The print is huge, so it may not have been the best idea to make a dress with so many different seams and pieces to it, but I'd bought all that I could of this, and it was just over 3 meters, and I have had to piece the inner yoke portion because it was proper pattern tetrising to even get this out of that fabric. I'm so pleased with it. I'm so pleased with it. I put pockets in it, which I need to remember that I need to enlarge for the next one that I will make, because this is a definite TNT for me. I find it a very quick make, regardless of how many things there are, processes that go into it. I have done a sew along for this dress, and if you'd like to check that out, you can do so here. I will link that in the description bar for you down below as well. This is one of my new favourite dresses, and over the coming months you will be seeing a lot of it. I find this particular style very comfortable to wear. This one is just slightly too tight for me, but I am losing weight. I'm losing weight at a healthy pace, so it's not dropping off, but it's coming off slowly. So give it another couple of months and this one will fit really easily. The only thing that I think I'm going to do to this one is add a waist stay, and I'm going to do that to a couple of my shirt dresses because I have seen a few blog recommendations for doing that. And a waist stay is basically a piece of Petersham ribbon that you make the side just a little bit bigger than your waist, and you sew it into a dress at points on seams, and you do that up first and then you do the dress up, and it just takes the strain off of the buttons. So I think that might be a good idea for me to do with this one. But this is a lovely pattern, highly recommend it. But I have decided that I'm only going to be making 3 iterations of patterns going forward, because I have so many ones that I want to try, and I have a lot of shirt dress patterns. So as much as I love this one, I'm going to be trying some different shirt dress patterns over the next few months. Okay, so next up is another TNT bodice, well, dress really, and it's the By Hand London Anna bodice, and I've added a waistband to it and then a gathered skirt. Now this is the fabric that was sent to me by the lovely Mary from Pre-Cut Nuts Fabrics on Facebook, and I will link her details down below. This is called Edible Gardens by Front Designs. I don't think Mary has any more of this one, but she does have some beautiful fabrics, and if you ask her or give her a clue of what you're looking for, she will send you some awesome stuff. Seriously awesome stuff. I've got another make with some of the fabric she sent me to show you a little bit. Yeah, I love this dress. How do I not have yellow in my collection already? I love it. Having said that, we went fabric shopping yesterday, a small girl type creature, Mum and Big Bird, and we saw some yellow fabric, and I was really good, and I didn't buy any because I don't need any more fabric, but it was a beautiful yellow floral, and I know where it is, so I might go back for it. But anyway, this dress is lovely. The only trouble with this dress is trying to do it up by yourself, which just took me about 5 minutes of like you know, twisting and stuff, but I love it. It's so pretty. As I said, it's the by hand London and a bodice. It's got a waistband and it has a gathered skirt on it. There are about 4 meters of fabric in this skirt. Mary very kindly sent me 5 meters in total, so it's a 28-inch skirt, I believe. Yes, 28-inch skirt, and 4 meters of that gathered down into the waistband, and I'm in heaven. I love it. I particularly love the way it looks like the melted crayon art pieces at the bottom of the fabric. It's just so pretty. And I purposefully chose the V-neck, and then because the pattern was a border print, so the lilies were going right up, and then there were bits of the print where it was kind of like in a wave pattern, which is mirrored in some of the other elements of the print, and I purposefully chose to put the kind of the lilies up the sides and have the plainer piece of fabric here on the V. I think it would have worked just as well with the high neck version of the Anna, but I really like the V-neck. So yeah, I'm so pleased with this dress. I think it's beautiful, and it will be worn a lot in the coming months because, again, they're becoming comfortable to put on rather than put on and like, oh, breathe in, don't eat anything, like they have been for a while. So yeah, I love this one. Very pleased with this one. So next up is March's sew along dress, and it's the Vogue 8825 in the dress version, and I colour blocked mine, and both of these fabrics are from Girl Charlie. I used a really lightweight cotton jersey on the top, and then I used their Ponte for the skirt. I have made a black one, and I'd made it in a lightweight jersey the whole thing, and the skirt just wasn't right for me, so I actually in March as well took the skirt off that and put a black Ponte skirt on to the bottom of it and loved it. I'm so pleased with this make. I think it's very, very smart, so I'm not sure when I'm going to wear it. Not because I don't like it, because I do, but just because it feels really, really smart. I think if I had an office job, this would be amazing because it's so comfortable. It's secret pajama wear, but it also looks really put together. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this dress. And again, if you would like to follow along with the sew along, I'll list that up there for you. So next up is one of my absolute favourite makes. It is the Vogue 9199 dress, and I made the longer version, but I evened out the hem. And this, I was going to fuss around with the Victory Patterns Jackie dress to get this look, this neckline on that dress, and then I found this pattern which had done basically all of the work for me. I don't think the skirt portion of this is as full as the Jackie dress, so there could be some Franken patterning going on where I take the skirt portions and add it to the bodice portions of this, and I think that's going to be less work than hacking the neckline of the Jackie. But I love this. If you have been watching my vlogs, you will have seen me wearing this and my other scuba dresses on fast rotation. Literally wear them, put them in the wash, wear them again. Because they are just so comfortable. Scuba is not a fabric that you want to wear when the weather heats up, because it's like your own personal sauna suit. And I have a lot of scubas. So the last year was the year of the Mccall's 7542, and I hope I've got that right because I've made so many of them. But those ones have all been retired, and Small Girl Type Creature is taking away 2 bags of me-made stuff for herself this weekend. She's up to visit. So I have purchased a whole new range of scuba fabrics, and I am very tempted to just take sort of maybe 4 or 5 days. And I have 3 patterns now that I absolutely love wearing, and I'm really tempted to sit down and just get all those scubas made up, batch sew the lot, because it's so quick to do, and I love wearing the results. But it's coming to the point where it's going to be getting too hot, but not for probably another month or so. So I'm thinking I might do that, because that way I will have more options than just the, as much as I love the blue toned ones, I have only got this and yeah, other blue toned dresses to choose from at the moment. So that's a definite possibility. Having waffled on about the fact that I'm only going to make 3 versions or 3 iterations of each pattern, mind you, I think I've got enough scuba to do. I've got 3 dresses, 3 dress patterns that I love, and yeah, enough scuba to do maybe 3 of each. So that's a definite possibility. But I love this dress. It is so comfortable. Definite secret pyjamas. So I highly recommend it. Okay, so next up is my toaster sweater. Now, I have made this before and I wasn't in love with it because I thought it looked, I'd made a size medium on the top, size small at the waist, and I'd made it, apart from that alteration, I'd made it as is, and it was just too boxy on me. But I have cropped this one by 2 inches and I love it. However, I think this one is lovely, but it's just a little bit too tight up here. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is go back to the original pattern, which is the medium at the top and the small at the waist, and I think I am going to crop that one by 2 inches and then make some more of these sweaters for sort of cozy, comfy knitwear in the evenings, because you guys will probably have been absolutely sick of seeing the grey velvet and the grey fluffy one that I've got, which are both ready to wear actually. So yeah, I need to get some me-made cozies into rotation, so they're coming up in April sewing plans. But I like the toaster sweater, I really do. The thing that I'm thinking is this one, there's nothing wrong with this one and I'll wear it. Oh, there's nothing wrong with this one except that I forgot to mark which was the front and which was the back, and have sewn the neckline, the back of the neckline to the front of the front of the jumper. But I'm not going to unpick that overlocking. No, I'm not. I think I can get away with that with this fabric. I do love this and I do wear this. I just think that for what I have envisioned with this particular jumper style is that I wanted it a little bit baggier, but not as when I cropped it by 2 inches, it now hits me on a point that you can see that I actually do have shape under my waist, whereas the longer one, it kind of hit me at the biggest part of my hips and I just looked straight up and down and I looked huge. So yeah, cropping it 2 inches just to show off a little bit of definition has worked perfectly. So I'm gonna make the bigger size but crop it. Can I say that enough times? Do you think you've got the picture? Other than that, this is lovely. I love it. Okay, so next up I have this green khaki version, and I believe it's pronounced khaki in America, and it's much more of a tan colour than it is a green colour. But yes, khaki. So this started at Life as Butterick 6388, the dress version, and I don't know if you've seen my knitting and stitching show haul, but I bought some really expensive Atelier Brunette black sweatshirting with gold flecks on it to make that jumper dress, thinking that it would be amazing slouchy wear to put over leggings and things like that. And I decided in my wisdom that I was going to make a muslin first, and I'm very glad that I did, because it did not work. I think maybe it might have been the fabric choice as well, because this is much chunkier than the Atelier Brunette fabric, and with the pockets in there it did not work. Having said that, I didn't like the shape on me either at all, so I was thinking, okay, well, this will be another one for small girl type creature if she'd like it. And then it was like, well, no, because I really love the neckline on this jumper, and it's got a yoke feature on the back, which I think would be really cool to colour block and things like that. So what I've done is I chopped it off, because the front panel has to put the pockets in, it's got 2 side seams that kind of curve in from about here down to the front. So what I did is chop it off just where those seams started, and then I've added a really deep waistband. And this one, it's lovely now. I absolutely adore this, and I should imagine that comes to no surprise to any of you who've seen the kind of jumpers and stuff that I like, that I then like this in this iteration. So next up is a set of PJs that I've made for myself. So this is the fabric that I got from Australia, and I ordered it from Darn Cheap Fabrics, and it was sent to my cousin. My order consisted of 2 tencel rayons that were the same print but different colourways, and then I ordered a certain amount, or if I upped my order by about $40, I would get free shipping within Australia. And I was having it sent to my cousin for her to then send it on to me. So it was like, yeah, okay. And I didn't really pay attention, and I added some print that I thought was pretty, and it was this floral jersey, which is really, really pretty. And I have made a long sleeve Renfrew t-shirt out of it, and some Simplicity t-shirt bottoms. I've also made a wanted top, which I'll show you in a second. The pyjama bottoms are great. The top is very comfortable, and I'm going to keep it and I'm going to wear it, but it's awful to sleep in because it is too hot. I get way too hot in this to sleep in it. But put it on the first night and I kind of woke up in a cold sweat because it was just like, oh, what's going on? Why am I? Yeah, and yeah, had to take it off. It is loungewear, I think, because I wouldn't want to wear this one out of the house, I don't think. Got a mirror here and looking at myself. Yeah, I just, because I made it to be PJs, in my head it's PJs, so I don't think I'll wear this one out of the house. But the Wanted t-shirt, which I'll show you, this is the Wanted t-shirt, and this one was always destined to be a top, not a PJ top. So in my head, this one I can totally wear out the house. It's weird how like I designate things in my head and then it's like, no, it can't be anything but the thing that I initially thought of. This one was successful to a point. The other one that I've made of the Wanted tee, in fact I've made 2 Wanted tees, they're great, but the fabric that I used was a much lighter weight stretch, and so I ended up having to sew the side seams at 5/8 of an inch instead of the 3/8 of an inch that the pattern calls for. And I just went ahead and did that with this one as well, and this is a much thicker fabric, so this is a very, very tight t-shirt. Yeah, it's very tight, but that's okay. Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm losing weight, so it's, you know, heading in the right direction, but I think for the moment this is a little bit too tight for me to wear, which is unfortunate. But the neck, look at that neckline, I love that neckline so much. So what I'm going to, and again, this is not going to be a top that's going to be nice to wear in spring or summer or any kind of heat. It is going to be way too hot and sweaty for those kind of weathers. So what I'm going to do is keep this one in my wardrobe, keep it through to autumn. I will have lost a bit more weight by then, so it should be more comfortable to wear. I'm going to put it into rotation then, see how it fares, and if I like it, keep it, and if I don't, I will donate it. But yes, I have new PJs, I have pretty PJs, and they are so pretty, and it's going to be really easy for me to pick a colour and make a cotton t-shirt to go with these PJs that will be comfortable for me to sleep in. So it's not the end of the world, I am happy. Where's Wally? Or is it where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? Right, so the next things that I have on is actually 2 pieces, and you can probably mostly see my boobs in this. It's the Simplicity 8513 bodysuit pattern that the lovely Karen sent me as part of the KB Pattern Swap Christmas edition that we did at Christmas time, and she sent me the Mccall 7131 trouser pattern, which is what I am wearing, which I think you can just about see down below. Now this is the whole of March's sewing was very nautical or under the sea themed. It was very much inspired by that. So yes, I do kind of look like a cross between Where's Waldo and a sailor, sort of. And that was intentional. This bodysuit, I have actually done, I've ladder stitched it up down here, which you can probably, yeah, I've ladder stitched it up down here because it actually plunges to down there, and even this is a bit too much I mean, I like my boobs, I have no problem showing my boobs off, but yeah, this is a bit, even for me, too much cleavage. And the pattern envelope said that I needed to do a large top for my boobs, a small waist, and an extra large butt. So the pattern piece that I've actually traced out ended up looking quite interesting. Now this is huge here, it's really big around here, really big, but it fits me perfectly on the waist, and the bottom, this is a bodysuit, if I not mentioned that, this is a bodysuit, fits me perfectly. And the problem that I always used to have with bodysuits when I wore them in the 90s was that they were too short in the torso, so I'd end up with showing my cleavage off, but not because it was meant to be that low cut, but because it was just all being pulled down too far. This one I didn't have to lengthen the pattern, but I think that was because the size large was just that much longer anyway than if I had done a smaller size and just altered it for a full bust adjustment or that kind of thing. So if I'd have done the smaller size, I would have needed to add length to it, but because I did the larger size, the length was already there, if that makes sense. I think it does. I've kept this for today's video, but I am not going to keep it after this. I am going to donate this because it is just not me, and somebody might wish to dress up as a slightly sexy Where's Waldo for a Halloween party or something, so they will have that option because it will be at the local charity shop. But having said that, I am going to Franken pattern this pattern because I love it from the waist down, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Wanted Tees neckline, so the square neckline that you just saw on me, and I'm going to use the torso part of that pattern to the waist, and I'm going to use their sleeves so that it, because yeah, it's so big under here. I'm going to use the torso part to work out the fit up there, and I'm going to make a square neckline, one of these, in this stripy fabric because I love the stripy fabric. It's from Girl Charlie, just I love it, and I don't mind looking like a Where's Waldo. It's not a problem. Quite embrace that. I think this pattern is going to be good for kind of hacking into different types of tops and things for me to wear, and I like it because with t-shirts I find that if I make them long enough so that I can do this kind of thing, I end up with so much fabric bunched up underneath whatever I've tucked them into, and I always tuck t-shirts in. It's very rare that I'll wear them over the top of things, that they look a bit odd and there's too much fabric there. So I like the fact that this is very streamlined and I can do this and it's not going to ride up because it's a bodysuit, so it's going to stay in place. So I'm really pleased with that one. And then these trousers I made with a crepe that I got, I think it was a Wonder crepe, and I got it from the fabric room. This fabric is an absolute pig to work with. It does not want to press. So I have pressed this to within 1 inch of its life and it still needs a little bit more pressing. So I'm just going to keep at it because it will get there eventually. But I love these trousers. I love this shape. They are also super comfortable to wear because they have an elasticated back panel at the waist, which is amazing. And it actually looks really nice as well because it's 4 layers of 1/4 inch elastic sewn into channels rather than one big elastic panel at the back, which I think can look a bit odd. This is, yeah, it's 4 channels and I really like it. And I like the pockets in this actually as well. I do like the pockets. They do need to be slightly bigger, but I like the pockets. So I'm going to make some more of these. These ones are definitely not perfect. These were destined to be always going to be a wearable muslin. The fabric room fabric is unbelievably reasonable. I think this stuff was £4 a metre. You have to buy a 3 metre minimum, but it is very reasonable. So it's great for wearable muslin kind of fabric. But having said that, the quality is beautiful, that I will happily order this stuff again and make up these trousers with the knowledge that I have now of how I put them together, because I completely ignored the instructions and did it my own way because, you know, it's me. So yeah, highly recommend the fabric room for wearable muslin fabric as well as finished item fabric. But yeah, I love this outfit. I love this outfit so much. So I'm going to remake this in this fabric but with a different neckline and to fit the top half of me. And yeah, I'm gonna embrace the sailor-esque chic and just, yeah, why not? So there's these two. Okay, so next up we have what has been affectionately christened my cheese shirt because it's the Deer and Doe Bruyere, but my niece heard Bruyere and thought Gruyere, so she said, I'm going to need one of those cheese shirts please, and it completely threw me. But yeah, this is my cheese shirt. This is a wearable muslin and I have done a full bust adjustment of 3 inches, so 1.5 inches to the pattern piece to give me an extra 3 inches around the circumference, and I think that is actually slightly too much. I've also transferred the apex points over wrong for the darts because they actually are, the apex points are sitting on the apex of my bust and they should be about 1/2 inch to 1 inch lower than that, so I need to lower those down. I know what I did. I'd done all the alterations and I'd done it in pencil and I just misread and put the dart point or the dart legs up to the wrong point. I should have put it to the dart point that I'd marked below, and I think once that extra fabric's released that will show that I just needed to do a 2 inch full bust adjustment rather than a 3 inch full bust adjustment. So there is that. I really like this shirt. I'm not sure it's as flattering as I wanted it to be. I love the fact that it nips in at the waist, but because I have such big butt and hips, I think I don't know. This is a chambray fabric, so it's very lightweight, but it's not exactly drapey. So I think maybe in a drapier fabric it might have worked better. But then the fabrics that I've bought, because I love this pattern so much that I bought 2 fabrics I want to make, are not drapey either. They're shirtings, and one is a flannel and one is a really nice one that I got from the Gold Hawk Road. So yeah, the reason I've got my cuffs rolled up at the moment is because I haven't seen ripped open the buttonholes on my cuffs. I forgot to do that, so when I go down to do twirls, I'm going to do that and then close the cuffs up. But the sleeves are actually the right length, but I do like them rolled up as well. This pattern comes with this sleeveless or the sleeved option. I would like a 3/4 or I would like a short sleeved option with fold backs on it. I think that would be really nice, but that's fairly easy to do with the sleeve pattern that you've already got. Another thing that I'm thinking is, because it has a waistband, I could not put the skirt portion on. I extend the waistband into ties and make it the tie shirt of my dreams, although I think I have another pattern that will work slightly better for me already. Having said that, if I get the full bust adjustment right on this one, that could be, yeah, so there's options for that. There are options. I'm really pleased with it. I've got to be careful how I sit in this one so I don't get any kind of unattractive rolls anywhere, so I'm kind of sitting up on my knees. So this is the Butterick 5895 and it's a Patterns by Gertie pattern, and it is the cropped shirt. I wanted this shirt to be cropped, but I have a long torso and I have to lengthen every single pattern that I come across, and I decided not to do that on this one. And that's the bottom of my bra there, and yeah, this I think is designed to sit on the waist, so I needed to add that extra inch. Having said that, I don't mind this too much, and I do wear a lot of high-waisted things like these jeans, so it's not the end of the world. I think I would be more comfortable in a longer shirt. Having said that, this was an interesting construction. There are a lot of layers that you end up with, so having to sew at the neckline, where, because it's another one of those ones where there's a point that you reinforce, stitch up to, so that you can manipulate the fabric to then go into the collar at the back. And yeah, that was fun. I have French seamed everything, as I always do, and working out how to do that at the back and finish it nicely was interesting. I've done it. The insides do look good, but I think what I would probably do is draft a facing that goes along the back of the shirt as well, to just tie in with the facing that comes around the front that makes these collars. And the other thing as well is that because it's grown on kimono sleeves, I can't really get my arms up any higher than that without the whole thing really riding up, because there's no, it just, so I mean, I've just put this on and I really like it. I do really like it. So I've got another one cut, and I stupidly just powered ahead and I used this fabric, which is sent to me by the lovely Mary. She sent me the front designs for the Anna dress earlier. She sent me this as well, and I love it. But I should have used slightly less precious fabric for a wearable muslin, and I should have lengthened it. And I've already cut out another one of these without the lengthening on it as well. I am going to make that up too, because I think, I do like it. I do like it. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's just a little bit outside of my comfort zone to be exposing quite this much flesh. But yeah, there's this one. And then I have one more top to show you, and then I've got skirts. So I'm going to put the top on, and then I'm not going to put the skirts on because you won't really be able to see, but I'll obviously do twirls of those outside as well. So I'll be right back. So this is the Mccall 6563 pattern. It's a woven cowl neck t-shirt pattern, for want of a better description, and I think this is my favourite one of the three that I have made. I cut this out back in January, and I was hoping that I would have time to get this one finished for my Lanzarote holiday, and I didn't, and it's been sat there ever since. It's a quick sew. It's like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour long sew, because of the finishing techniques that I've used on this. But I love it. It's brilliant, and this is my favourite one of the lot. Mind you, it could be because I've lost weight and this is fitting me better, so I need to try the other two on to make sure, see what they're looking like. This is the viscose chally that I got from Weaver D, and I believe she still has some more. I believe they still have some more of it, so I will link it down below if they do. and I think the pattern is out of print, but it's only recently out of print, so it is still fairly readily available. Yeah, I'm really pleased with this. And the pattern actually asks you to use bias binding on the back neckline, and on the other two I've done that, and I found it incredibly difficult. I mean, I clipped it, I did everything that you're meant to do, and I still found it incredibly difficult to get the back neckline to lie flat. So with this one, I drafted a facing for it, and I'm not a huge fan of facings, so you know how dramatic that is. So yes, I have drafted a facing for it, and it works so much better. Really pleased with how this has come out. I have used bias binding on the hem at the top of the cowl and of the facing, because the other ones I did a narrow rolled hem on those, but I just thought I'd try binding on these ones, and it's actually worked really well. Because of the way the neckline is constructed, you can't French seam the shoulders. I'm sure you probably can, but I couldn't work out how to do it. So I've used bias binding there as well, and then I've done a narrow rolled hem on the sleeves and a narrow rolled hem on the hem. And yeah, like I say, I love this. I actually kind of quite like how it looks with these high waisted jeans that I'm wearing as well. I am surprised by that, because usually I tuck everything in, but because this is cut on the bias, I think it clings to the body in a nice way, so it shows that I have shape as well. So I think I might actually wear it with high-waisted jeans untucked, which yeah, a bit of a style departure for me, so that's exciting. But really pleased with this one, really pleased with this one. So the final 4 things, yes, you heard me correctly, 4, this video is never going to end. The final 4 things that I have sewn are skirts. So I'm not going to put them on up here because there's very little point, but I will show you, and I will do outdoor twirls for you to have a look at. So the first one is this Scuba Skirt, and it is a 5-panel circle skirt, and I had intended to do this as a tutorial, and then I realised that I was just March was going to be insane, and there was no way that I was going to be able to do the tutorial that I wanted to do it justice, so I just made this up. The other one that I've got of this is kind of like a burgundy pinky coloured textured scuba, and I made that one slightly too tight, so I did a slightly larger seam allowance on this one, and it's slightly too big because I forgot I'm losing weight, which is, you know, idiot Shah, never mind. So I think what I'm actually going to do is one day in front of the TV sit and unpick the waistband, because yes, that is serged or overlocked on. I'm going to unpick that, and then I am going to redo the seam allowances on these back to what it was and make it tighter, because the other one I can put it on and I don't feel like it's going to move around, whereas this one I put it on and it's not hugging me, it feels loose. I mean, it fits and it's not going to go anywhere, but it feels loose. So I'm really pleased with this though. I had just over 2.5 meters of fabric left over. It was a wide scuba, but I'd made a dress out of this last year, and I managed to squeeze this skirt out of the remainder of the fabric, and it's such a pretty colour and it's such a lovely shape, and it's a great length as well because it's a 29-inch skirt. So there's this one. Next up we have the coral reef skirt, which I absolutely love. So I've made a gathered skirt. It is literally 2 rectangles, so a rectangle for the skirt and a rectangle for the waistband, and gathered down to my waist measurement plus ease, and then hemmed, and I've hemmed it with bias binding as ever, and I love this. And I've also cut out the cropped shirt, the B5895 shirt. I've actually cut that out of this fabric as well. I haven't made that one up as yet, it's still in pieces. I kind of wish I'd realised that I just wish I'd listened to my inner voice and lengthened that pattern, because yes, I wanted a cropped shirt, but I have to lengthen everything. I have learnt, and I won't do that again. But yeah, I love this. This is so nice, and it's very comfortable to wear, and it's coming up to the time of year where I can wear cotton skirts without having to put tights on underneath and little tie tops and things like that. So I'm really pleased that I finished this. Another variation on a rectangle skirt. This is some stripy fabric that my mum had bought for me from Thousands of Bolts and Only One Nut many years ago. I think I had 3 yards, so 2.8 meters of it. I love this, and I really wanted to play around with chevroning a bodice, but I didn't have enough fabric to do that and have the kind of skirt on it that I wanted, so I went for just a skirt instead. It is 29 inches long There is 104 inches of fabric. I can't remember what that is in meters. I will put it up here when I worked it out by looking at a conversion chart. But yeah, it's one of those pleated and gathered skirts that I have made, and there is a tutorial for that here. I'm listing all the tutorials today, aren't I? And yeah, I love this. I love the way it looks. I love the way it hangs. Mum is currently knitting me a jumper in a beautiful lime green that's going to go with this really well. I have got a couple of t-shirts that are going to work with this. I'm also planning on making a couple of solid coloured tie front shirts, one in white, one in navy. So that's going to go really well with this as well. You can expect to see this kind of skirt and that kind of outfit a lot over the next coming months. And finally, if you've made it this far, well done. Finally, it is the 8577 Vogue pattern, but in skirt form. So it has those beautiful big pockets that I love. And I haven't actually lined this one because the fabric wasn't sheer and didn't need it. And I have drafted a facing for it and a waistband, and this is actually the waistband that comes with the pattern, and I literally chopped it in half and made it into a skirt, and I love it. This is awesome. I love this fabric so much. This was going to be the M6696 shirt dress, but the pattern on this one really is too huge for that, all those seams, I think. So I'm pleased that I decided to make the skirt with it instead. I went to pattern Tetris this together and realised that I was 10 centimetres too short of the amount of fabric that I needed for the length that I wanted. So I went and ordered some more. I ordered another 2 meters of the fabric, and they actually only had 1.5 meters because they it happens to me as well, like the bolts come and they say that they're this long and then they actually end up being a bit shorter. And because you personally, I tend to overcut by about 10 centimeters for customers, just to make sure that if there's any wonkiness in my cutting, that they've definitely got the actual amount that they've paid for. The bolts kind of, you end up with the odd sort of 75 centimeters, 50 centimeters that are too little to what you have listed. So that's what happened with this one. So they sent me the 1.5 meters, and it still wasn't quite enough for the skirt panel, so I had to shorten them by 1 inch. But that's okay, because it's still a nice long skirt. There was me thinking, with 5 meters of fabric, I'll be getting a shirt out of this as well. A crop shirt, but I'll be getting yeah, no. There is still some more of this fabric available, and I am very tempted to buy it to make a shirt, because I love the idea of having the separates but then also wearing them together to make it look like a dress. So that is a possibility, that could happen. But yeah, my final skirt to show you, which I absolutely love. It's so pretty. And I have some fabrics, some plain fabrics that I'm going to be making t-shirts out of that will go really well with this. And I think again the navy tie front shirt that I want to make and the white tie front shirt that I want to make are also going to look awesome with this as well. So you're going to be seeing a lot of this over the next coming months. If you have made it to this point, well done. That is it. I finished 20 items, technically in a month, because the week I had last week was so unproductive that which meant that I was finishing off stuff this week, and if I had an unproductive week last week, then it would have all been finished in March. But yeah, that's a lot of sewing. I'm so excited for all these different things though. There are some fails. The cheese shirt, the Gruyere shirt, it's not a fail exactly, I need to tweak it, but I don't think I'll be wearing that particular version that I've made there. I think that one will get donated. So yeah, the Simplicity bodysuit didn't work as is, but I know what I need to do to tweak it to make it work. So I'm really pleased. And on that note, I'm going to shut up. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!